Greetings and welcome to the energy of Virgo. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome to the channel. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. We shall go ahead and get started with a reading known as the Great Mirror. The Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order of the Twin Sun in order to see the apparent karmas that may emerge for the energy of Virgo, the sixth house, and significant other, essentially. So we shall go ahead. Now, one thing about the sixth house, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sixth house, is an interesting house. It's known in Vedic astrology as a Dustana house, a house of obstacles. Okay. Now, it's within the block of the 6 to the 7, which is the transitionary houses, the middle houses of the zodiac from the 6 to the 7. The last house of the self is a mutable earth sign, that is Virgo, into the cardinal air, okay? That is Libra, the 7th house. There's a movement from the 6th to the 7th that has to do with the disintegration of the ego into another, okay? So it's an interesting sort of thing where if we perceive anything on the material realm or in the realm of manifestation, there's something about it that, with it being a Dustana house, which is a house of obstacles, it also is a type of a place where we can grow something, where we can sort of create a synthesis of something, okay? And that is the beauty of Virgo. It also encapsulates the axis of the 6th and the 12th, right? The last house is the 12th house, the house of dissolution, the house of also ascension, and it's the end of the zodiac sequence, okay? So at this midpoint of Virgo, there is the Hermit's energy, which is essentially the quest for understanding the path, okay? Also, some great tendencies of being very reflective. The mirror comes out of Virgo in order to show the abstract and make sense of the abstract that comes through the 12th house, the doubling of the houses into the 12th from the 6th, okay? So it's an interesting house in that it encapsulates that axis of great spirituality on one end, infinite compassion and love on one end, great spirituality and depth on one end, yes, as opposed to the sort of intensity of Virgo, okay, the middle point of the triplicity of Earth, the grounding is there. What can be said about this is that there is a type of river that moves through the houses of Earth, the triplicity of Earth, from Taurus, the 2nd house, into Virgo, and then into the 10th house, which is Capricorn, Virgo being the center point. Now, what Virgo does in this position is essentially sort of, and I keep saying this, is the curatorial position in which we can use our mind, our elevated mind in Mercury, right? Our intelligence to conceive or to apprehend something that is within the mystery of a flowing river, okay? That goes through different parts of land, okay? Now, Capricorn is the high point. It's the mountain. Taurus is something of a low point. It's the base. So there's something about the path of the hermit that is about ascension. Okay. Now we go ahead and begin. Now, no more talk. Let's do some shuffling. Please take only what you will, and we'll go ahead and see if how things are for the energy of Virgo in terms of karma. Excuse me. So I do believe that there's someone influencing you in some sort of way, someone else. This person has a hidden truth. They also have a great deal of your seventh house captured in a sequence. Okay, so the sequence has to do with an expansion of an idea, an expansion of insight of some sort. Give me 1 second, please. Okay, and they're going to meet you at one point, but I think you are more interested in finding a sense of grandeur, and finding a sense of grandeur. You will make a type of communication with this person in due time, but it's to communicate a type of process here that involves the expansion of an idea and meeting someone with truth. Yeah, that's the thing, because the 3 of rods leads to the 4 here. So that's the gateway. Now, Eight of Swords in reverse, 2 of Pentacles. When looking forward from the place you're at now, at least for the energy of Virgo, there was a karma here that has to do with spending time on a way or a method, an apparatus, spending time at a gateway, or perhaps the Lion's Gate is very heavy here. 4 of Rods is indicative of the Lion's Gate. Now, with this energy, there is something to do with the 5th house, which is the house that cradles the 6th. Now, Eight of Swords in reverse. Yes, this has to do with breaking free from a constraint, a way of thinking, in order to find this empowerment, the sense of an apparatus, the sense of a ladder, or something like a tool or structure for you to be firmly standing on. This will help you to find balance, I would say. And Mercury is going to be gifting you with higher intelligence in due time. An understanding of all karmic flow will come into balance, okay? And there's a possibility that you will be having 2 choices or 2 options with something. This has to do with the breaking of a cyclical thought pattern that now you feel emancipated with, okay? This also can have to do with this meeting of the minds. I think the sense of grandeur that is approaching is tied to the Lion's Gate. It's tied also to the possibility of really coming into a sense of empowerment. That's what I see now. Let's move and get into the reading. I will be using my favorite deck, my favorite deck, period. In particular because of the High Priestess, and this deck is really special. We'll see if she pops up. I don't think she will. She's that elusive. Okay. Okay. This Ten of Swords did show up twice. In French, it's pleur, which I have no idea what it means in French. But there we have it, the Ten of Swords. Now, Ten of Swords is an interesting dynamic. It is the multiplication of the Three of Swords times 3 plus 1. Okay, so truth emerges, but this truth is something that is painful, whatever this is. I think you are moving on in order to find the grander scheme, the grander grandiose, essentially, in order to find something that is more meaningful. But then we have this cycle, this thought pattern, this deep intensity that is percolating on the conscious realm for Virgo. The sign of Pisces is now approaching the Hanged Man. This Hanged Man is very particular. What a mysterious Hanged Man. Hanged Man here is a woman. She has a bandana, and she's exposing her legs to the serpent. The serpent is just chilling. Serpent usually speaks of an awakening, the primal reptilian brain, as well as ancient worship essentially beings that have a great deal of energetic poise, yes, potentiality as well. At the same time, the serpent carries information that can be toxic. It sort of represents Pandora's box. But the beauty of this hanged man, or this woman, essentially flashing her legs to the serpent, she holds the caduceus, which is the healing emblem, the T with two intertwined snakes facing each other, an occult reference to a great number of things, but primarily in the modern lens, it's been adapted to resemble the caduceus of healing. Okay, the healing arts. Okay, this also can do with a lot with Kundalini awakening and whatnot in terms of pop trash, sort of spirituality. At the same time, Kundalini awakening is something that is particular in that its effect, if it's truly experienced, is kind of undesirable. It's out of body and very spacious, which can be good for some people, very bad for others. That's why a lot of people that finally experience it feel it at the time of their death, mostly. But here we have la prudence, which is, of course, prudence, the ability to have beatitude, or perhaps a careful way of approaching certain things. So here lies the irony of this card, where a hanged man, for example, would not mind sort of being sort of washed over by methods of torture or anything like that. They are a martyr, so that is their path. That is the hanged man. Now, with this, the 12th house is here as well. The energy of Pisces, 5 of Cups in reverse as well. The energy of the Hierophant, or Mariage, is the lovers in this deck. Okay, but the Hierophant is there as well. With this, there is a complication that has to do with emotions that are falling flat on the ground in terms of their possibility to carry weight for someone. Okay, so this has to do with the process of purification surrounding a situation in which love is supposed to be sort of the domineering part, and there's something about this love that has a feeling of artifice. Okay, there's something that you can know about this as being an element of desire, and it's something that Virgo can understand in terms of Virgo's own resources, Virgo's own way of handling things, and essentially understanding the methodology or the praxis behind certain things, or the teleology, as well as the ability to foresee in a realistic way how this process will be of purgation, of truly embracing a healing process, something like this, okay? This is a strong ass connection, though. Whatever you're dealing with here, it evokes a great deal of kingly energy within you, okay? It doesn't matter if you're a masculine or feminine person. Whatever it does, it gives you a sense of Raj, you know, a sense of proper understanding, okay? Wisdom emerges out of this. But Hombun Severe, which is the man of severity, is here. And this is through the energy of Leo. So that empowerment through the Lion's Gate is to gain a sense of true knowing, you know, of true expression in some sort of way. And if it comes in a form of severity, there we have it. But you're dealing here in a situation that activates the mind quite a bit to the point of breakdown, okay, to the point of ending. And this ending can be painful, but it also can be quite numbing, okay? And that's why in the energy of the Kundalini awakening, there's something, you know, that is sort of eclipsed by the Hanged Man here, with the lady in waiting. There's something about it that has to do with knowing the process of toxicity, you know, knowing the process of the mind and seeing its sort of its limitations, right? Its limitations to approaching truth. That's the thing, truth. You know, the sword sequence from 1 to 10 is all about essentially going through um, the mind, the process of the mind as it pertains to the sequence of swords. There's always a multiplication or an addition. What else has to be said? Now, the trick is knowing from a post-lapsarian standpoint, which is essentially anything after the fall. Every sort of utterance that we say as human beings, and this is from a sort of hermeneutical perspective, a way of interpreting scripture. Everything that we say, it falls flat in terms of how closer we get to the truth. In anything we say, essentially is angst. It's something that comes from a place of not knowing. That's why we have to say in order to assert what we do know. Now, the beauty of this Leonic energy that is coming from the subconscious realm with Hombot et Severe, the King of Rods in the reverse, there is more feeling of action, or perhaps even an abrasive sort of energetic fire that needs to be expressed, as opposed to be anything that has to do with thought. Okay, there's no thought in the King of Rods in the reverse. It's all action, and perhaps that's something that you are considering doing. There's a severe course of action that needs to be undertook here. But this situation is quite deep, that the Six of Cups is showing. Okay, so you are dealing with someone who may be a monster. They might be, they might have very, very, very few things to offer in terms of a sense of order or a sense of responsibility behind what they do. There may be a secret way of them trying to balance out between your energy and the energy of another, someone outside of the situation. It doesn't have to be so, but there's also that possibility, because their offerings, they cause this plight of the Ten of Swords. There also is something about them that does things out of a sense of need. There's sort of a type of victim mentality, and I'd hate to project that onto them, because they also could be cross-watchers. So how to spin it into a positive light? There is something here, excuse me, that has to do with, the energy of the cardinal energy of Cancer here. Okay, because it's in the reverse, there's a great potential of energetic reserve within this energy. This has to do with the opening of the 4th house, but also the flip of the 4th house, which is the 10th house. Okay, so emotional karmas. The 10th house is the house of karma. but it's an earth house. But if you flip the energy of Cancer, then the fourth becomes the 10th, okay, at least in my reckoning. And with that, there's a great deal of realities that are emotional, that need to be expressed, okay, that are creative in nature, that are there to nurture either themselves or another, okay. But because of this, sort of lack of drive, there is a lot of Martian energy here and a lot of chaos that could emerge out of the situation. I would be careful. Um, the beauty of it is that there will be a sense of clarity soon. What is emerging here is that whatever that they offer, it doesn't sustain clarity of mind. But when you look at it from a distance, or when you look at them, there is a sense of there's a sense that it can be felt, whatever that means. There's a sense that there can be a clear way of seeing each other eye to eye, and that there's an equal match here. At the same time, with the sun's energy and Taurus's energy, there is a very fixed approach to handling things. Okay, meaning that things will consciously be chosen to stand in within the light of things, to shed light on the matter, and that's a very positive thing. There's an element of creation here, as well as the ability to find a sense of clarity, okay? And perhaps you've worked the mind out as far as you could or can do, to the point of saturation, okay? So with the saturation point, there's finally some sort of aha, and it may be a painful truth, that you may, be seen as someone who has gone through quite a bit in terms of the process of the mind or communication when it comes to this, or percolations of thought that, eventually come to coalesce to some sort of end. Okay, but clarity is coming, and there also is prodigalite here, prodigalite. So that is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Pentacles reverse does not augur well. This person um, could improve on their offers. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Um, what is emerging out of all of this is a sense of severity within the disorder. So agitation leads to the Six of Rods in reverse, and attentiveness will emerge out of this. There is a strong need to express something out of impulse, okay? And this is what's going to happen. This will activate essentially the sun's energy. It will bring things to light. Okay, so there's a very strong, impulsive, subconscious, magical realm here that will bring things to light and call things to attention through severity as well as disorder, okay, disarray. So it's going to be like a shining flash of impulse that will emerge out of this. Now, I will look into, yes, let's do it now. Okay, so you have three kings on your side. King of Pentacles was showing, as well the King of Cups here, and the King of Rods in the reverse. Now with the King sort of flip side and upside down, at least in this realm, King also showed up here, Hombron, right here, in the upright. So the karma is saying that there will be a need for you to balance and harmonize with the earth, to come from a grounded place to perceive what is occurring. But there are certain conditions and rules that you may be imposing within the situation to make it logical. The problem is that you're dealing with someone who's coming from a place of dissension. They would rather not, but at the same time, they externalize a great deal of karmic baggage that is emotional in nature, that needs to be expressed in some sort of way, and they're doing it from a place of disorder or a place of need, okay? And these will create actions or impulses that are not necessarily of the highest order. At least that's how I read it. There is a possibility that great secrets will be revealed, or perhaps These secrets will be hidden, and this is sort of what needs to be expressed. There's a great deal of emotions that come out in the shape of dry offers. Okay, so it's difficult considering you have a lot to do in terms of your own intense capacities, or possibly there could be a sacrifice here that you may regret in terms of this connection if you do indeed sacrifice it. There is also interesting. There's something infertile about this situation. Making it infertile sort of grants equal measure. Okay, and that's the mystery of this connection, meaning that your seventh house will be activated through this connection, through the energy of, once again, this deck is incredible. Um, this is the energy of the Empress, okay? Appui, and then protection. Protection. It's a very interesting placement. This would be the Empress in reverse. Now, with the Empress in reverse, there is a need to, there's infertility. Okay, infertility. There also is Venus in her lesser form. Okay, Venus in her lesser form can be very vengeful, and very filled um, with civil disobedience. Okay, so it doesn't bode too well. At the same time, there is an element of protection. There's a protective, sort of domineering, controlling quality that envelops this situation that can guarantee a karmic outcome. Okay, something that will run or go through its full sort of extension of grace. Okay, that is what I see in terms of advice. There would be a way for you to approach this if, and it would become, it would require you to sit on your throne and to be pure to essentially what you are here to do, what you are deemed to do in terms of self-imposed restrictions or limitations. These would actually help you because, in truth, I think this person, as well as you, may be offering things that may be veiled in expectation. Okay, expectation is something that can be misinterpreted as well as projective in nature, meaning that it can come as in the shape of a bullet and can actually be quite dangerous if expectation is not handled correctly and with good measure. That is all I have to say. Hopefully this has helped. I do wish you well. Bye-bye.